this video I will raise and answer questions about CERN. What is CERN? CERN is a research organization that operates the largest particle physics laboratory in the world. Supposedly, CERN's main function is to provide the particle accelerators and other infrastructure needed for high-energy physics research. And their goal is the probing of the fundamental structure of the particles that make up everything around us. What is the LHC? LHC is the acronym for the Large Hadron Collider. Many activities at CERN currently involve operating the Large Hadron Collider and the experiments for it. The Large Hadron Tunnel is located 100 meters underground on the Swiss-French border. The majority of its length is on the French side of the border. It uses a circular tunnel with a circumference of 27 kilometers. What is being done in the Large Hadron Collider? Supposedly, particles are being accelerated at extremely high speeds and are colliding with each other somewhere in the tunnel. And supposedly, due to their collision, those particles are being broken down, and supposedly that will result in the creation of even smaller particles. Is there any truth to these particle collisions? Absolutely not. The whole particle notion is based on the atomic theory. The atomic theory itself is nothing more than a theory that is being fraudulently presented to us as being a fact. There are no proofs for those so-called particle collisions whatsoever. All we get are computer-generated images. Nothing is being collided at CERN. But quantum physics is a science, isn't that right? Quantum physics is a theoretical science, the aspects of which are being fraudulently presented to us as facts. The so-called science of quantum physics is just as fraudulent as the so-called science of astrophysics. What about the atom? Supposedly, the atom exists, and supposedly it looks exactly as it's being presented to us through CGI, animations, oversized models made of plastic or wood, etc. However, there isn't a single photographic evidence in support of the ridiculous claims about the shape of the so-called atoms. If atoms really existed, and if their composition is as it's being presented to us, then there would surely be entire catalogs by now full of real photographic pictures depicting the so-called atoms. But what about the thousands of scientists working at CERN? There are 4 types of scientists within CERN's hierarchical structure. The first type is made out of the executives. There are around 25 of them. They know that the whole particle collision is a charade. Their job is to fraudulently present the atomic theory to the general public as being a fact. And in order to do that, they need to keep the lower-ranked employees of CERN distracted and occupied with non-existing experiments. The second type is made out of people who have a degree in quantum physics. They are intelligent people who simply followed the instructions in the textbooks, wrote an essay on the subject, and were granted a degree in quantum physics. Now they are staring at computer screens all day long and actually believe that what they see are real aspects of quantum physics. while they are simply looking at fake CGIs presented to them by the executives from higher up the hierarchical structure. These few thousand scientists are technically nothing but a bunch of ignorant run-alongs who are proud of being employed by the famous CERN and who are blinded by their own pride. The third type of scientists is made out of people who are aware of the fact that the whole particle collision is just a scam, but are afraid of coming forward due to the risk of getting fired or worse. There are also intelligent people who are aware of the atom hoax, but are simply playing a role by putting on a mask in order to receive their monthly salaries. The fourth type of former scientists are those who woke up to the deception, said something about it, were fired over it, and are now bound by various non-disclosure agreements and therefore can't publicly talk about any of the CERN lies. The remaining people working at CERN are subcontractors and administrative clerks, most of which are just as ignorant and oblivious of the particle deception as the so-called scientists from the second type. What about the 27 kilometers of tunnels stuffed with expensive equipment? Well, in order for something to be believable, it has to be impressive. The bigger the structure, the more impressive it is. And the more impressive it is, the more believable it becomes. What about the financial cost of all that equipment? Where does the money come from? The 25 highest ranked executives at CERN are Freemasons. The Freemasons are the owners of all the world's central banks. They print money out of thin air. Those people have literally unlimited financial resources.